I got it! When I first heard about Dave being trapped in a maze...
1, 2, 3, 4!
I built a labyrinth. Can you believe it?
Dave is trapped in a cardboard maze in his living room and he can't get out.
Welcome to Dave Made a Minute, the podcast where a whole bunch of us are exploring the film Dave Made a Maze 1 minute at a time. The twist. Many of the participants have never seen the film. Some don't even know what film they're sampling. They get their minutes and they tackle them as they see fit. Here's your host from the Groundhog Day Project and Michael Myers Minute, Robert Black.
Minute 49, Annie takes charge, and Gordon offers the inkling of a plan. To tackle Minute 49, we have Chris Frain and Rudi Thornburgh of Open the Podcast Doors How.
You come home, there's a giant maze in your living room. You're like, what the... There's a giant maze in my living room. I've heard of people rearranging the furniture, but this is wackadoodle crazy. Give me a sense of that.
This doesn't make any sense.
The problem? The problem to my sentence, my solution to the problem.
It's like a fucking cocktail party in here.
I get a few words from you before you go.
Hello and welcome to Open the Podcast Doors How. My name's Rudi Thornburgh. I'm here with Christopher Frain. Hey Chris, what's happening?
Well, what's happening is we're covering minute 49, not of 2001.
Song 49, the classic James Gang song, yeah.
Yeah.
Famously recorded through a Fender Champ.
We are not covering minute 49 of 2001: A Space Odyssey. However, we're covering minute 49 of this movie we've never seen before.
Quirky indie film.
That's about all we know. There's a guy trapped in a maze. I think his name's like Dave.
Well,
or something. Yeah,
good crossover.
Yeah. Guy named Dave trapped in another dimension.
I'm going to say I just watched the minute.
Well, I did too.
More than one person is trapped in this maze now. The whole gang.
The S word is getting real. Not sure what the rating on this podcast is. So we start off with it's a scene with Dave and Annie, I believe her name is, and they're in a hexagonal. Now I'm thinking.
I can't vouch for
Is it hexagonal or octagonal?
I didn't count. I don't know.
But they're in a hall. They're in a wonderfully lit
vestibule.
Polygonal vestibule, and they're having some sort of heart-to-heart, and we only get about 5 seconds of this scene, and she says, "Dave, we're getting out of this maze." Dave, by the way, is wearing a shirt that would be in my wardrobe. It's a baseball shirt with red sleeves.
Yeah, it's a classic look.
Yeah. He went into the store and said, "Get me the Chris Frain." Yeah.
I noticed there was an exit sign and an entrance sign on either side of them. I think before we only saw the entrance it was an entrance sign last time.
That was 27 minutes ago, I believe, or no, even more than that. 41 minutes ago.
So that was 8 minutes ago.
We did 5 and 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they only showed one of those doorways in the last minute that we watched. So I don't know if that's the maze constructing new things, which it appears to be doing. According to our characters, it's organic. It is alive. It is growing. But they're going to find their way out. The 5 of them.
Right. So the next scene within this minute, there's a few more characters added to this menagerie down there, and they've decided they're getting out, and they are unveiling the tools at their disposal.
And I saw a rope, but that's all I noticed.
And like a pack of cards,
maybe,
was one of them, and they passed up the opportunity for a MacGyver joke, and I appreciate that.
Like a coconut didn't drop down onto the floor?
What's that?
Oh, that's a Gilligan's Island joke. Sorry.
No, I was thinking MacGyver, like the whole thing of I've got a paperclip and an orange peel and
cricket lighter.
Yeah, and I'll get out of this submarine.
Yeah. You don't want to get out of a submarine.
No, you don't. Stay in the submarine. So they're figuring out their plan of attack, and then the boom operator comes down.
Boom operator. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. You're only saying what I was thinking.
Okay.
And he comes out and they ask him, where have you been?
And he looks flustered. And
He
they
looks
say, what
really
happened
flustered.
to you?
And then he says, I don't want to talk about it.
Yep.
And that's pretty much the end of our minute here.
All right. Well, it's been good talking with you.
Yeah.
Chris, what do you think happens in the next minute of this movie? Do they get out of the maze?
Well, I think eventually at the end of this movie they do.
You're such an optimist.
Yeah. Now remember, we are covering 2 minutes from this minute, which we recorded last week.
2 minutes from what?
Okay, so we covered minute 49.
Uh-huh. Just now.
Yes. About a week ago, we recorded minute 51.
Yes.
Yes.
Now,
so
was
they
that...
at least survive until minute 51.
Okay, we know nobody is dead, or at
Right.
least the
In the
afterlife
next
looks
minute.
exactly like...
Ooh.
Or, yeah,
think
the
you got a
afterlife
point
looks
there.
exactly like reality, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Or
if
this film's reality.
What if hell is just cardboard boxes?
That would be as good a metaphor as any other for technology. Yeah.
I think they make it out.
I want to know how the entrance and exit signs are illuminated. But we know there's some kind
How
of
is
power.
anything illuminated in there?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And I don't mean like behind the scenes, how is it done?
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm sure that's interesting. And I'm sure there was the constant threat of conflagration with all that cardboard and set lighting.
What if they had, like, set it on fire? It's made of cardboard.
Right.
Living cardboard, but cardboard nonetheless.
And they're inside. I bet that comes up in the movie, just not in one of the minutes.
And they're like, what are you, an idiot? We're inside it. We're going to die if we set it on fire.
When this podcast comes out, when the whole series comes out, we are going to watch the film. I suggest you write down a note without any context that says, why don't they just set it on fire? Put that note like prominently in your living room right next to the TV.
Sure.
Don't tell your wife what it means. And then we'll find out.
Okay. We'll do that as soon as we finish this episode.
Okay.
All right.
Well, let's get to it.
All right. We're all set.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure, and thanks for including us on this. This is kind of like Abbey Road, where this actually was recorded. No, Abbey Road came out last. So this is our Let It Be. No, Let It Be came out last, but was recorded before Abbey Road. Like, the whole point is we recorded these out of order. So I shouldn't do like the final farewell goodbye, because you'll actually hear us in like 2 days. But
well, we're having fun now, and we'll be having fun again soon when you're listening to whatever our next minute is. I hope everybody else who's looking at this movie is having as much fun as we are.
Yeah.
Minimum, at least that much fun.
So check us out on Open the Podcast Doors, Hal. That's a movies by minute podcast where we cover Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey in its entirety rather than 4 random minutes.
We're slightly more cohesive.
And we'll be making episodes of that through, I think, March of 2019, if not longer.
Thank you so much for having us, and thanks for listening. Enjoy your morning, afternoon, evening, or middle of the night.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
All the traps, and then we can finish this maze. Who is with me?
That was Chris Frain and Rudi Thornburgh of Open the Podcast Doors, Hal, taking on minute 49 of Dave Made a Maze. Dave will be back in minute 51. Next time on Dave Made a Minute, we've got Johnny Powers of Austin Powers Minute and Mark Meadows of Tarantino Minute taking on minute 50.
Thank you for listening to Dave Made a Minute. Intro dialogue snippets were taken from Dave Made a Maze, directed by Bill Watterson, written by Bill Watterson and Steve Sears, and produced by John Charles Meyer. Intro music is Diversion by The Equals, featured in the film Dave Made a Maze, and Life Cycle of a Match by Parvis Decree. Outro music is Leaving This Godforsaken Place and Her Presence is Strong Here by Parvis Decree. Dave Made a Minute is a production of Lemming Drop Studio and all other featured podcast producers. You can find more content at lemmingdrops.com. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Dave Made a Minute. If you like what you hear, throw us a rating and review on your podcatcher of choice, and check out all of the participants' other shows to spread the love around. Again, thank you for listening.
As long as we're all working together, this is going to be fine. It's going to be great.
I need you to notify the families of everyone who died here today.
Totally. Wait, what?